When Mob Entertainment introduced these smiling critters, I think a majority of the players all thought that they would play a big role in Chapter 3. However, only 2 of them did. Catnap was the main villain and DogDay was the last survivor of them. Therefore, they're not really in the game as much as we would have liked. This is because we were told they all fell victim to Catnap and the prototype. However, that might not be entirely true. A few of these supposedly innocent creatures might not have been as friendly as they seem. So let's take a look at what might have happened to them. The smiling critters were a popular plush line of colorful stuffed animals created by Playtime Co. Eventually, they got their own cartoon as well as becoming Playcare's main mascots due to their popularity. Because of their success, Playtime Co. decided to use them as part of the Bigger Bodies initiative. As we know, this helped Playtime Co. to increase their workforce efficiently without needing human workers who required things like payments and breaks. Playtime Co. decided Catnap would be perfect to work in Home Sweet Home. He was used to aid in putting the orphans to sleep using his red smoke. This was his job. He would put the orphans to sleep so the staff at Playtime Co. could experiment on the children. Now, why did Catnap turn evil? Well, he was heavily influenced by the prototype. He worshipped him, treating him like a god. Catnap believed in the prototype's ideology in setting all of the toys free. But why only Catnap and not the other smiling critters? Well, I want to quickly suggest something that could explain why. What if Catnap was actually under full control of the prototype throughout his time as Catnap? I go over this in more detail in my DogDay video, but Catnap's eyes are exactly the same as DogDay's when he gets taken over by the mini critters. So this could mean that Catnap has had the mini critters inside of him this whole time. That is why he is evil, and that is why he worships the prototype. It's just the prototype using him as a puppet, and this is why the others did not follow the prototype. It's because they fought off the mini critters, at least most of them. We will come back to this. Now, what exactly happened to the other smiling critters? We unfortunately don't really see them throughout the chapter, so we don't get many clues. However, thanks to the cardboard cutouts around Chapter 3, we do get some hints as to what might have happened to them, some more darker than others. Now, I want you to keep in mind that there is an ongoing theme here. Bubba Bubbaphant's cutout is quite disturbing. He tells us he remembers who we are, and asks if we want to know what he remembers about us. When we hit the button a final time, we hear intense screaming. This could mean a lot of things. However, before we get into that, I want to suggest something. At the very beginning of the screaming, you could argue that this is actually laughter.
Hey, I remember you. Want to know what I remember about you?
Now, why would Bubba be laughing here? Well, it could be caused by Catnap's red smoke. Like we saw in the Smiling Critters cartoon, the red smoke can cause laughter before it puts you to sleep. It puts you in a euphoric state. So this could mean that Catnap did in fact take out Bubba Bubbaphant. However, if you think he just screamed, this could mean that we might be at fault here. He remembers us because we were one of the employees that experimented on him. It's thought that we, the player, were part of the Bigger Bodies initiative. Therefore, Bubba remembers us from this. We caused him pain and suffering, which ultimately led to his death. The next cutout we run into is KickinChicken. He asks us if we want to go outside and hang out. However, he mentions that he has never been outside before. Because of this, he is scared. As we go with him, he goes first. Then we hear screaming. A second cutout with a screaming ending.
Hey, I'm KickinChicken. Want to go outside and hang out? I've never been outside before. Will you come with me? I'm scared. Here, follow me. I'll step out first.
This suggests that KickinChicken ended up dying because he went outside. He escaped the confinement of Playtime Co. only to fall victim to Catnap. The next cutout we have is Hoppy Hopscotch. She asks if we want to jump to the moon with her. As we keep pressing the button, we keep trying to jump higher and higher, but obviously failing each time. The last thing we hear is her yelling jump as she ends up screaming.
I'm Hoppy Hopscotch. Wanna try hopping to the moon with me? On 3 with me. 1, 2, 3! Again! Again! Jump! Jump!
This suggests that Hoppy Hopscotch ended up falling or jumping to her death. It's as if she was trying to escape the harsh reality of her new life. However, it's interesting that she wanted to jump to the moon. Catnap wears a moon pendant. Is there a connection here? Well, I'll let you decide. Bobby BearHug is the next cutout, and she tells us she loves us to the moon and back. Again, mentioning the moon. She continues on explaining how she is crazy about us, how she is lost without us. She has been lost for a long time. She asks if we will take her with us this time, which is odd, meaning we have gone somewhere without her. She is talking about when we would leave the facility. She wants us to bring her outside of the factory so she can be free and escape this nightmare.
I love you to the moon and back. I'm crazy about you. I'm lost without you. Please, take me with you this time. You won't leave me, will you?
However, she likely starved to death or died at the hands of Catnap. DogDay's cutout tells us to fetch, then asking us why we are standing here, continuing with how we can't be here, we can't stay. Then we hear screaming.
DogDay says, fetch! Why are you just standing there? You can't be here. You can't stay.
However, we know DogDay's fate, but this theme of screaming is in almost all of the cutouts. The last two smiling critter cutouts take a much darker turn. CraftyCorn starts to show us her true colors. As we know, Crafty is the artistic one of the smiling critters. When we press her button, she asks us to help with her painting. As we keep clicking the button, we give her the color blue. She then asks for red. Although we end up running out of red paint, she then suggests that we are hiding red from her and screams, "Give it here," as she cuts out to static. After this, she says much better, meaning she got the red she wanted.
More red, please. Out? But we can't be out. You're hiding more red from me. I know you are. Give it here!
Clearly, she was talking about blood. She wanted to use our blood as red paint. This is a perfect example of how the smiling critters might have had an evil side to them, which would lead to CraftyCorn's fate of becoming a meal to her friend. This evil is also shown through Piggy. Her cutout is by far the most disturbing. When we press her button, she starts listing off her favorite things to eat, including foods like roast beef and grilled chicken. However, she begins to mention other disturbing choices, like seared elephant and filleted unicorn, then mentioning how she is still hungry and asks us if we want to be her friend.
Grilled chicken? Down the hatch! Seared elephant? Yum! Flayed unicorn? Still hungry. Hey, what do you say you and I be friends?
So Piggy could have just starved to death. However, I think it's clear that she was describing the other smiling critters here. So it might be possible that Piggy ended up eating her friends in order to survive. Now the question is if she was under the control of the prototype or not. This could be suggested from what DogDay tells us. When we speak to him, he briefly explains what happened to the others, telling us that they tried to fight the prototype's control, how he is the last of them. At first, this just sounds like they all perished at the hands of the prototype. However, he doesn't go into detail at all. I mean, why would he? Why would he tell us that these smiling critters turned on each other? Now, him mentioning that they tried to fight the prototype's control could mean that the prototype was somehow able to control the smiling critters. Maybe the same way DogDay and Catnap became evil. How the mini critters were able to crawl into DogDay. This could have been how the prototype controlled Piggy. He used the mini critters to get inside of her body, take control, and turn her against the others. Or was her hunger just too strong to keep her sane? I'll let you decide. So what about CraftyCorn? Was she just evil or did the prototype play a part? Well, I think either scenario could be true. If the mini critters had nothing to do with her crazy mindset, it just goes to show that the slightest bit of anger can bring out someone's true colors. The last question I want to answer is, where are these smiling critters' bodies? Because their bigger bodies versions are not in the prototype shrine. They could be with the prototype type. However, I believe their bodies are gone, eaten by the mini critters. After all, DogDay did tell us that the mini critters were fed for following Catnap. Now, keep in mind, I am just speculating here. Everything I just said could be me overthinking it. I do think that most of the smiling critters were probably friendly. However, considering Poppy Playtime is a horror game, I like to think that there is a darker side to everything. We should be taking these cardboard cutouts with a grain of salt, because after all, they are just cardboard cutouts, not the actual smiling critters. But they are all that we got, so we do with what we have. How do you guys think these smiling critters perished? Do you think any of them had an evil side? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, if you want to support the channel more, you can become a member. Don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifiedT. Thanks for watching.